You see this drink over here? That's Goku, alright? Now Goku has an aesthetic physique. So in this video, I'm gonna show you guys how you can also get an aesthetic physique. Aesthetic physique, you skip certain muscles because certain muscles aren't as important as others. So for example, you don't need a thick neck, you don't need a strong neck, you don't need good traps. They're not really that important for an aesthetic physique. And this is actually just aesthetic is in objectively speaking of what most people would agree is important. Personally, I think traps make your physique look immense and crazy. It just looks crazy, right? But for an aesthetic physique, it's not actually that important. So the muscles we're going to focus on is shoulders, arms, and then by arms, I'm talking about biceps and triceps. We're not going to talk about forearms because even though they look beast, as long as you're lean, that's alright. Like, people don't really care, like, aesthetically wise, people don't really care. It kind of adds to that triangular look if you actually have bigger arms than your forearms, like, considerably, you know what I mean? Like, visually bigger. So, chest matters as well, to a degree. It doesn't need to be huge, just matters to be good. Lats matter hugely. You know, you need wide lats. You don't need to focus on your upper back or your back in general. You just need to focus on your lats for an aesthetic physique because people are not talking about looking at you from the back. They're talking about just looking at you in general. So if, as I said, personally, I would think traps would look cold as heck, but I'm speaking objectively, okay? Abs are insanely important. Not so much obliques, but abs. Definitely your lower abs as well. Very, very important. And when it comes to legs, it's just quads and calves. Hamstrings and glutes are not that important. Quads and calves are insanely important if you want to look aesthetic, okay? So I'm gonna go over this again. Shoulders, arms is in upper arm, not your forearms. Chest, lats, abs, and quads and calves, all right? Those are the most important muscles to look aesthetic. So I'm going to give you guys exercises as to how you can get an aesthetic physique and basically train those muscle groups that I mentioned.
Want to build muscle? Want to get stronger? Want to get better at calisthenics? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you should check out my training plans. For those of you who are beginners in calisthenics, Cali Starter will help you build the strength needed. If you want to build an aesthetic physique with your body weight and no equipment, calisthenics is what you want. If you want to become a powerhouse in calisthenics, build your strength with Gravity Chamber. Each program is 12 weeks long, and with each program you will not only be given what you need to train, but also what you need to learn so that in the future you know exactly what you need to progress in your training. The aim is a one-time purchase that you will not need to make again in the future, as with each program you will be given the needed information to understand how fat burning, muscle building, getting stronger, and becoming explosive really works. You will be able to make your own training plan moving forward, and you'll be invited to my Discord. The link will be in the description box below and in the pinned comment.
We're going to work down the body, all right? So number one, shoulders. So for shoulders, you've got 3 exercises, okay? You've got overhead press, anything that's pushing over your head, a vertical push, bottom up. Then you have side lateral raises. Then you have something pulling, you know, from front to back, all right, just to hit your rear delts, okay? So number one for your front and partially your side delt is overhead press. And for that, you can do shoulder press with dumbbells, barbells, or machine. I recommend machine if you're really trying to stay as safe as possible. Or you can have the calisthenics options of handstand push-ups or pike push-ups, just pushing over your head really. For overhead press, you want to be doing it 2 to 3 times a week. You can do 3 times a week, just lower the intensity for one of the sessions, but 2 to 3 times a week, and you want to be doing 5 to 10 reps for 3 to 5 sets. Okay, so 5 to 10 reps. You can vary. You can do some weeks where you're doing 5 reps and some weeks when you're doing 10 reps. I find I like that rep range. You might find you want more reps and stuff like that. Personally, I think 5 to 10, just my personal preference and from my personal experience, has worked best. All right, so 5 to 10 reps, 3 to 5 sets. Next for shoulders is your side lateral raises. For that, you want to be doing them 3 times weekly, and you want to be doing 10 to 15 reps for 5 sets. Okay, so that one you want volume. So shoulder press was intensity. This one is volume. So you want to be doing 10 to 15 reps. You can even do more if you really want, but I recommend 10 to 15, and you want to be doing 5 sets. No 3 to 5, just 5 sets. Side lateral raises. There's no calisthenics option. You can do it with resistance bands. You can do it with a machine. You can do it with, like, you know, they got like machine side lateral raises. You can do it with a dumbbell. You can do it with cables to make sure you get a consistent resistance. As long as you're doing side lateral raises, it doesn't really matter in my personal opinion. I understand why different movements, but as long as you're doing it, it's better than not doing it. All right. And lastly, rear delt flies. For if you're doing weights and if you're doing calisthenics, I would say doing horizontal pull-ups, but pulling like kind of high up, so like a face pull in a sense. And for that, I recommend doing that twice a week, 10 plus reps, and doing 3 to 5 sets. So doing 10 reps or higher and 3 to 5 sets. Next up, we have chest. And for chest, we have 3 exercises. One of those exercises will be repeated when it comes to arms. Exercise number 1, and we're working kind of top down. So from the top to the middle to the bottom, you want to be doing incline bench, and you want to be doing that for 3 times a week, and you want to do it for 10 reps for 5 sets. That's just to get that upper chest working, all right? You want to have that Dragon Ball Z cleavage that all of them have at the top, all right? That separation, you know what I mean? So you want to work your upper chest. You don't want to have a deflated upper chest. It starts to look kind of bad, all right? So 3 times a week, 10 reps for 5 sets. If you're doing calisthenics, just do decline push-ups. They're called decline because you're at a decline. Decline push-ups, you're at a decline, but they work the same muscle group, all right? They still work chest, and they also focus on the upper portion of your chest. Next up, you have flat bench press, and for that, you want to do 5 to 10 reps, and you want to do that for 3 sets. You can do more, but I recommend just doing 3 sets, all right? 5 to 10 reps. If you're doing calisthenics, just regular push-ups, okay? There's different, progressions you can use. You can do diamond push-ups if you really want to really focus on that chest. I actually recommend that, but if you do want, you can just do some regular push-ups, although you'll feel a lot more in your tricep as well. Diamond push-ups, in my personal opinion, I'm speaking purely anecdotally here, feels way more on my chest. I feel like I feel way more of a contraction on my chest, as long as I squeeze at the top of the movement. So not just finishing here, but pushing. So rather than just pushing like this, you want to really push, all right? You want to finish that push, all right? So yeah. Next up is dips. You want to be doing dips 3 times a week. You want to yet again be doing 5 to 10 reps, and you want to do them for 3 to 5 sets. Dips is not only for obviously lower chest, it also does work your front delts as well. All of them work your front delts, but they work your front delts noticeably, and they also work your triceps as well. So it's a good arm builder as well. That's why I recommend 5 to 10 reps. If you want to focus a bit more on your arms, I would say a little bit more reps. Personally, I feel it more on my arms, just because I feel like my chest can't take all of that amount of volume, but that's just personally. But anyway, you want to be doing that. Yet again, I recommend doing weighted dips if you can, just so you can really focus on progressive overload. You can do tricep extensions if you really can't do dips. There are machine dips if you want. You can do assisted dips on the machine, or just tie a resistance band to it and do resisted dips. But dips are definitely important in building your chest as well. So that way you have every single part. You focus on the middle part of your chest. It's in just the full meat of your chest. You focus on the lower portion and the upper portion. So next muscle group is your lats. For your lats, we have the king of all back exercises, pull-ups. Okay, now pull-ups you want to be doing 2 to 3 times a week for 5 to 10 reps, and you want to be doing it for 5 sets. Okay, I say 2 to 3 times because it depends. If you're doing weighted, then you don't want to be doing it more than 2 times, but if not, then 2 to 3 times is good, or 3 times is good. 3 to 4 actually, if you really want to like alternate each week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, stuff like that. But yeah, you want to be doing 5 to 10 reps, no more than that. It's not really necessary, my personal opinion. Once you start being able to do more than 10 reps, don't just leave it at that. Add weight to it, okay? So that you can make it harder, okay? So pull-ups, 5 to 10 reps, 5 sets. Next up, arms. You want to be doing curls twice a week, and you want to be doing 10 plus reps, and you want to be doing it for 3 sets. All right, the reason I say 3 sets is so that you really focus on those 3 sets. Okay, so yeah, again, curls, whatever curls you prefer. Personally, I just think the most basic curls with dumbbells is, in my opinion, is the best. But I don't really focus on doing curls. I grow my arms from doing calisthenics, but yeah, you can be doing curls. If you're doing calisthenics, I'd say chin-ups, not pull-ups, because, at that point, it takes away from the biceps. So I'd focus on doing chin-ups, ideally weighted chin-ups, and I'd actually work in a bit of a lower rep range, actually. So more closer to 5 than closer to 10, if that makes any sense. That's just from personal experience, because, I feel like you really need to recruit your biceps to actually help with the initial pull before your lats kick in. I might be wrong. Next up, abs. No. And yet again, I mentioned earlier that for your arms, dips are also useful. They work your lower chest, but also really good for your triceps as well. And by dips, I'm talking about between 2 parallel bars, not bench dips. Okay, I think they're garbage. Now, next up, abs. You want to be doing leg raises 3 to 5 times a week. You can be doing them a couple more times if you want. I say 3 to 5 times. 3 times is good for most people. You want to be doing 10 plus reps for 3 to 5 sets. All right. Very simple, works the lower portion of your abs. That's why I think it's more important. Also, it's just my preferred exercise when I train abs. If I had a choice, I'd only be doing them. I do weighted sit-ups as well, but that's not because of choice. That's just because I'm really focusing on strengthening my core. But if I had a choice, I'd only do that for abs, okay? You actually don't need to focus on building your abs in general. If you want to look aesthetic, just drop your body fat. But of course, you know, if you have like some blocky like abs that actually have some mass to them, that does look good. All right, pause. Sit-ups, all right, or weighted sit-ups. You don't have to do it with bent legs. You can also do it with straight legs or whatever. I do them 3 to 5 times a week, yet again, for 10 plus reps for 3 to 5 sets. Probably just 3 sets is calm, but 3 to 5 sets. Sit-ups, you can do weighted or whatever. You can do them on a decline, whatever, but sit-ups. Now, for the second last muscle group, you have quads. For quads, you want to be doing them 2 times a week. You have quads. Exercise number 1 for quads is squats, and you want to be doing squats twice a week, 5 to 10 reps for 3 to 5 sets, okay? So vary, you know, heavy squats and some mid-weight squats for whatever your max is. So, you know, maybe 90% of your 1 rep max. Some days, or not 90%, I say 80%. And then some days do like 70, 65% of your 1 rep max and try to get to like 10 reps if you can. Those are amazing, so don't do them any more than two times a week because I'm expecting you to do an intense workout. All right. Leg extensions as well. For those of you not doing calisthenics, leg extensions are really useful. I would say doing them for 2 to 3 times a week after your squats and an extra time if you really want to focus on growing your quads as well. You want to do them for 10 reps and 5 sets, okay? Next up is your calves. Now, calves are hugely genetic, okay? It's all about insertions. If you have a low insertion, you're in luck when it comes to aesthetics. If you have a high insertion, you're in luck when it comes to bounce, all right? So you want to be doing calf raises. Very simple. You can do them weighted if you can, you know, at the gym, or you can do it without weight. It doesn't really matter. Just focus really on getting the full range of motion. You want to do them 3 to 5 times a week for 10 plus reps and for 5 sets, okay? But don't get too stressed on calves. I'm only saying that because I don't have the most crazy calves, but I do understand how much of a genetic element it really is. Because I used to do a bunch of calf raises as a kid. And obviously, I used to get like people who would be like crazy about my calves, like, yo, your calves. But it was more because they was ripped and you could see the muscle, not because the muscle looked big. It was just like you could see the muscle. That's what it is. So, yeah, that's how you build an aesthetic physique. I hope this helps you guys. Those of you who do want to focus on aesthetics, remember, it's not all about the way you look. Personally, I think it's more about the function of your body, but I do understand that a lot of people do want to look aesthetic as well. We all want that backy physique or that Goku physique, all right? So here's a training plan for you guys. Not training plan, just kind of a training guide for you guys who do want to build an aesthetic physique. It's B4Flex, and I'm out.